Hi! So I don't really know where to start, but I suppose I'll just start with my story and what age it all began. From what I understand, I started suffering from mental health problems at the age of 13. I used to be like quite a chubby child and then I used to also be really fussy with my food. So I went to Thailand for a really long time, and I know you must think I'm crazy, but I was really fussy and I thought, Thai food, not really my deal. So I lost a lot of weight, and that was unintentional, but I started to get a really positive reaction from the weight loss and I started to feel really good about myself. So that led to me having anorexia, and I used to just starve myself. I became really obsessed with exercising. Sorry, it's going to be quite an emotional one. And I would exercise even when my friends were around. Like, I had a routine and I had to stick to it. I got as low as 5.5 stone, and I was about 5'5" at the time. I used to get mocked a bit at school for how skinny I was, especially by some friends, but I used to absolutely love it. With that, I started to get quite ill. I developed a cough which led to vomiting, and then as that kind of cleared up from antibiotics and whatnot, no one really knew what it was either. No one actually kind of diagnosed me with having an eating disorder, but I do recognise that that is exactly what it was. It couldn't have been anything else. And from that, from not eating, I guess because I wasn't really aware of what it was, what was going on with me, and from being so young, from 13, 14, 15, I kind of just got on with life. It sounds weird, but I was always kind of aware of my weight and how I looked and things like that. I would purge or make myself sick every so often, and just because I used to eat and then feel really guilty for it, I would feel really disgusting. So on the odd occasion I would purge my food. I also then didn't really like eating in front of people, like people commenting on how much I was eating, what I was eating and things like that. From there I went to uni, still carrying this all with me, but not really truly aware of what was going on. I also then, in my final years, from the stress, I was making myself sick all the time, and no one really, I don't think anyone really knew, or if they did know, they didn't say anything, but my weight would always fluctuate. I would become, I don't know, from like 9.5 to 10 I think was my heaviest, which, yeah, that was a bit of a rough one for me, and then down to about 8. It would fluctuate in between that, so in between 2 stone, which is quite a lot I suppose in short amounts of time. I became ill and it really started to get in the way of my uni work, and I nearly failed my course because I wasn't attending. I developed a kidney infection from all the purging I was doing. From nearly failing my course, I thought, why have I let this kind of get in the way of everything that I have wanted or want to achieve? I managed to finish my course, which was good, and through this time I think I also developed kind of like anxiety with like being so conscious of the way I look and the way I feel, and if I felt like I had put weight on a certain day I wouldn't want to go outside. At uni this is especially like dominant. On the odd occasion I would make my way to the front door and I would just have to turn around and go back upstairs. I used to shut myself away. I guess people thought I was just being unsociable, but I just felt so uncomfortable and so disgusted with myself that I didn't actually want anyone to see me. And still sometimes today I feel like that. I also developed depression from teenage years. I guess every parent thinks that their child is just a bit misunderstood and a bit of a rebellious teenager. Not like I did anything really naughty or anything, but I just kind of, I was hurting inside, I guess, from all like the things of my eating and whatnot, and no one really understood or was sympathetic towards those feelings and those actions. So I kind of developed this kind of feeling of isolation, which kind of made me feel really sad and kind of really unhappy with not just my physical appearance but my mental appearance, as it were, to others and to myself. Through my teen years, I didn't really get on with my dad so much. He kind of misunderstood. He used to work offshore and he'd come back in, and yes, I most probably was also being just a difficult teenager, but at the same time there were deeper problems there, and we used to disagree on everything. He would just kind of come in and dictate to me how I was feeling and things, and quite often I would be told that I was a bad person, like I was selfish, I was all sorts of things, and I understand as a parent that's like, you know, you just want your child to be the best they can be, but also sometimes there are, you know, like a problem's a problem no matter how big or small, and for a child, you know, their problems are real to them, and it's unfair to kind of disregard that and kind of push them aside as stupid. So on that note, like constantly having that feedback made me feel really low within myself and unsure of myself, and that maybe what they were saying was true, maybe I am those things, and that I should dislike myself. So yeah, those kind of things have kind of stuck with me throughout the years. I'm nearly 26 now, so it's quite a long time. It's quite hard to kind of get over. I'm still definitely struggling with things now, and from the depression it led to, it all just got too much. I didn't have what I felt comfortable with as a support system. Having dealt with these things inside for so long, it's hard to kind of, and then if you say something and someone rejects your feelings and thoughts, then you kind of learn to just hold it all inside. So having had that, it just got all too much. There's so much pressure on young people to kind of achieve and be these amazing things, and you know, we live for so long. Life is short, but at the same time it's not that short that you have to put so much pressure on yourself to be someone else or be at the level as someone else. Everyone develops and goes at their own pace, and everyone's experience is individual and personal to them, and they should be cherished and not kind of looked down upon. And yeah, so from that I attempted like to commit suicide twice, sorry. I just really wanted to share this with people, to like, so that other people feeling the same as me kind of don't feel alone, like, and that your feelings are just as important as anyone else's, and that is something that's really important to me. So I kind of wanted to share my experience with everyone. The first time round I got nothing going into hospital. I got kind of like, I don't know, like they said they would contact me afterwards, but I didn't hear anything. And then the second time round I did get contacted again. I followed through, and when and got counselling. I did have to, however, go through private counselling to get it quicker, which was £40 an hour, which, yes, is definitely a lot and is definitely a cost at luxury. But yeah, that did really help me. I definitely have brought things on from those sessions into my everyday life now, which make things more bearable. But I had to stop those because I went travelling for 3 months, and then when I came back I decided to seek it through the NHS, but that, not as in a bad but that was more focused on my eating habits and eating disorder experiences with eating disorders. Yeah, that stopped because the NHS had cuts, and unfortunately the mental health side reaped the disadvantages of that. So where I'm at now is that I'm not taking any antidepressants or having any counselling. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much to it. And when you grow up through teenage years as well, I think they're so influential onto the person you are as an adult, that those habits and those, like the way you think and the way you've trained your mind to think, so hard to adapt. I can't really say that I'm happy. I can't really say that I've experienced happiness in like the full, I can't describe it really, but I don't know, I haven't been happy, and I don't think I've experienced happiness where I truly just can relax into that mode of happiness. There are certain emotions that I've experienced that come with depression and everything, and anxiety and everything else, that just feel more natural, like anger and sadness. I can fully accept sadness, and from that sadness comes anger. And yeah, those are the two emotions that have been the most prominent and what feel the most honest, or that I can accept within myself. Like when I'm happy I really question it. I kind of doubt, or I don't think I'm really worthy of the happiness that I am experiencing. Yes, I laugh, I smile. There's something within me that always feels slightly uncomfortable. Yeah, and I think it's that discomfort that just prevents me from feeling anything else really. I've always wanted to be one of those people that just kind of like pleases everyone, and having pleased everyone, I've never kind of just been myself, and to know what just being myself is like. It's kind of really hard to just be you and accept you, well, me for who I am. Yeah, I think it's just a shame really how everything has to be compared. Everyone has to be compared. Like my experience of these things are going to be totally different to yours or whoever's experience of these things, and some may appear more extreme than others, but I think it's important to remember that whatever you are experiencing is the most important and should be treated that way. I mean, I'm not saying you should go out and just ignore everyone else's feelings or anything like that, but just the projection of other people's feelings onto you. If you feel sad, if you feel anything, you know, just accept those feelings. And that's something that I really struggle with. That is something that I'm really working hard to do. Like recently I feel like I've put on weight and I feel so uncomfortable with myself and so disgusted with myself, and that really affects kind of like my mood and the projection of myself and how I think and feel inside. That it really disables me to do anything, and you know, I've lived such a fortunate life. I've never had to want for anything. With that there comes like this huge guilt. I don't know if any of this makes sense or is in any flow at all, but the way to make this the most genuine is to just kind of say whatever pops into my head and just hope that it's helpful somewhere along the lines. With all those things combined, I've found it extremely difficult to not live up here. It's like a constant thing in my head that just goes round and round and round and round, and I mean, everyone tries to help, you know, if you're sad people want to help, but sometimes advice and, you know, oh, it'll all be okay soon, and they make it out to be so easy, and then you feel so stupid that you can't, you know, why can't I do that then? Why can't everything just be okay like a normal person? You know, why can't I just be sad? I'm feeling sad. And then you fight with yourself so much. It's crazy the fights that I have had in my head. Because I see things in so many different perspectives. That's where I struggle with knowing how I feel, I suppose, is that because I am influenced by external kind of thoughts and feelings, then I look at all the different options and I just can't settle for one, and I can't find the one that feels most natural to me, because I don't know. When you don't know what is you, you can't really, you can't do. You don't know what to do, you don't know what the best action is, and that is something that I am trying to really explore. Yeah, I just need to be true to myself, really. And it does sound like a really selfish thing to do, and just that I do struggle with that sometimes. But at the same time, it's no life to live being unhappy. So if this is the route I have to go, then, you know, that is the route I want to go. Yeah, saying everything out loud just sounds a bit more loony, especially when at the moment I'm just talking to a camera. But yeah. I guess it's just my story and my experience, and I do want to kind of just focus on just purely eating disorders and purely on anxiety and purely on depression. I'd love to know if anyone thinks that would be helpful, or, you know, you want to watch that, or whether you think I'm absolute rubbish. I don't know, maybe you can just keep that to yourselves. But yeah, it's hard, so hard, and it's so isolating, like not being able to talk about anything. Yeah, it's like one of the hardest things. Just hold it all inside, to just deal with it all yourself. There's such a weight to carry. If anything, I've learnt that I don't have to just carry it on my own. I mean, I'm not just going to say it to any old Tom, Dick and Harry on the street, but yeah, I don't really know how to wrap this up. Yeah, I will be trying to make more videos, like I said, on the specific subjects and how I've dealt with each of those subjects in more depth. But I just kind of wanted to introduce my story and how it's all come about and you know why I'm going to be making those videos. Yeah, I really hope you found this helpful, and I shall speak to you all soon. Have a lovely day.